So this is another blogcast from my website, maverickbeyond.com. This one's from the 9th of June 2024. Cyanotype Sculptures, Exploring Physical Space with Photography. What are the motivations for exploring photography on 3D surfaces? In this blog, photographic artist Jo Howell shares with us her thoughts and experiences across 5 different photography makes. Remember, you can subscribe on YouTube, or you can join me on Patreon for exclusives, and you can buy my art from Saatchi Online. As an impoverished working class disabled artist based in the northeast of England, I can safely say that your support on Patreon is always appreciated, plus you will be getting more exclusive content. So number 1, wall hangings from Demo Prints 2024. I haven't created a post about all the bizarre ways that I have been using cyanotype photography process in my own artworks. I hope you enjoy my various forays into the third dimension. What happens when images take up physical space? When an image jumps from flat to all kinds of shapes and sizes? My latest sculptural cyanotype artworks are specifically designed to make use of the waste left over from teaching. There are still quite a few of these left to build. I'm really enjoying the process. I don't know where it's going, but I'm having fun nonetheless. These sculptures are created by using watercolour paper, 3 different hole punches, metal chain links, and wood. The process has allowed me to explore shape and form, and using demo pieces like this moves them further away from being just a photograph and into the realm of factory components, waste images, probably spanning at least 10 years through the various prints. So these chain cyanotype sculptures, I'm still in the process of making them, and if you do manage to have a look on the website, then you'll be able to see them installed in Washington Old Hall, in Sunderland. So far I've made 7 of these wall hangings. It was nice to put them up on the wall in the exhibition to see how they live in space. I think they break up the rectangular shapes of the other artworks in there without looking too garish. I've made them as segments, so you can either display them all together as a coherent show, or you can display them individually. So dear London, New York, Tokyo or Paris, get in touch to host the maddest photography show / photocraft. Number 2, cyanotype on fabric wall hanging of Gertrude Bell 2024. In this project, I used a combination of source images from Newcastle University's Gertrude Bell archive alongside new images to create cyanotype art. The starting point for the images was a crude digital montage of Gertie's head upon an Assyrian wall carving, and the sacred handbag was replaced with a supermarket bag for life. This is obviously a fun and light-hearted approach to the Queen of the Desert. The local author had written about Gertie's entourage carrying her tin bath and luggage through the desert, or how the other half lived, whilst we have to suffer and carry our own shopping bags inside. Number 3, Winter Parade cyanotype lanterns made in 2023. This was a fun community project done with the Cultural Spring for the South Shields Winter Parade. I worked with the Cubs and the Beavers on smaller lanterns that they could carry. The huge lantern is a photograph by one of the participants from South Tyneside Age Concern. The photograph was done excellently, and it shows South Shields Town Square. I upscaled his work using multiple A4 acetate negatives that I taped together to create a large lantern slide. The large lantern frame was then made by one of the Age Concern participants out of heavy-duty garden canes and insulation tape. I used eyelets to string the fabric into place, and I used a high-power LED umbrella light to illuminate it from the inside. The smaller lanterns I made from heavy duty white gift bags, and I cut out the sides to give us a frame with a handle. The images were then printed using cyanotype onto vegan vellum, and the light was a colour changing puck light. They were really easy to make, easy to carry, and they looked really good. The smaller ones that are shown in the blog were test pieces, but they were also pretty cool. Number 4. From cyanotype to metal to way markers for Shildon, Gem Trail 2021 to 2024. And the image shows cyanotype commercially printed onto metal and then inset into hand-worked railway sleepers. I used different ways of transforming the cyanotype photography that I had made with the communities in Shildon and the Trimdons. This was commissioned by Discover Brightwater and Groundworks Northeast. The Gem Trail takes you from the Locomotion Museum up through Timothy Hackworth Park and into the library on the main street. The project was for 9 sculptures and a trail. Now I've done one, I would know to negotiate the amount of installations down or the amount of money up. But you live and you learn. I'm proud of what I managed to produce. These pieces should still be in situ for at least another 8 years. I also used commercially printed eco vinyl to wrap birdhouses, which were still functional and were put in the trees in the park. We also used a cyanotype portrait of Jane Hackworth that was printed onto a paper doily in one of the sessions. And we had that printed on metal using enamel. I particularly loved the portrait of Jane Hackworth. I decided that she deserved her own blue plaque for services to the community, the railways, and to give her a presence that was lacking before we made this. Hand printed on a paper doily, the painted portrait from the archive was scanned and turned into a negative for the print. Jane Hackworth lived just before the invention of photography, so the only images that we had available of Jane Hackworth were a cut-out silhouette, which was popular around the time that she was alive, and a painted portrait from probably our mid-40s. This sculpture, which is essentially pretending to be a blue plaque, sits proudly on the wall outside of the church where Jane Hackworth was buried, and it's within the eye line of her husband's bronze statue. It's easy to overlook women's history in such masculine landscapes. The railway towns are all about engineers and inventors, or about the miners, but quietly in the background, there are stories about women that we just have to keep putting out there. Number 5, rotundas, shop windows and billboards for We're Experimenting in 2018. A rotunda window was part of the shopping centre in Sunderland Town Centre, and I had basically taken a load of images that were produced with the community and then in a graphic design style stuck them together and created window vinyls to take over this space that I guess people just walk past all the time. Rotunda window. This causes me problems already. Is architectural intervention or a window display a sculpture? Well, fudge, I'm not really sure. I'm including these pieces because they're some of the largest public space interventions that I've had the pleasure to create, working with fantastic partners, Northeast Photography Network and the Cultural Spring, to work with the people of Sunderland to explore those crossroads between science and photography in a really fun, accessible way. It was really a diamond project. It's thrilling, liberating, community-focused and bloody hard work. I really got the time and the space to work with people and to try out new ideas. I loved it. I wish I could manage to do a commission like this every couple of years. So for the project I used cyanotypes, pinhole photography, solargraphs, lumen prints and instant photography to create different source artworks with the public. And then we used those artworks to curate and reinterpret in different ways. So shop rotundas, billboards. So we made hundreds of artworks, and it was really an amazing creative vehicle for my own development as an artist. Prior to our experimenting project, I had been exploring sculptural pinhole cameras that I displayed with the original pinhole photographs and with the paper negatives. And then I finally printed those pinhole photographs using a commercial company onto metal. Anywho, it's a thing that keeps creeping back into my head. That niggling OCD that keeps churning through my mind. What if? I think the idea of interventions in different places needs more exploration. Where's the craziest place that I can show cyanotypes? Is it cheating to use cyanotype in the design process, but to commercially print and install work? There are lots of things that I still have to show you on the theme of 3D objects to display photography in different ways, but I think that's probably enough for us to think about today. Do wall hangings count as sculptures? Let me know in the comments.